What up, guys? I'm back with my national championship prediction. Unfortunately, Ty can't make this one. His girl's in town, very limited amount of time he gets with her, so I understand it. But it's a big week ahead and a big Monday night here for college football. But before we hop into this week's game, we got to talk about how they got here. That Miami Ole Miss game was an instant classic. Carson Beck rolling out to his left, scrambling through the line, scoring the touchdown and winning that game for the Hurricanes to get back to Miami to play in their home stadium, where Ole Miss came up just short on the last play of the game. And then Indiana, it was over after the first play of the game. Uh, Domination, complete domination from that Hoosier team yet again for it feels like the 15th straight time this year, even though they're 15 and 0. There's only been a handful of games, that Penn State game and that Ohio State game, where this Indiana team really has struggled this year. But they still obviously won all these games. So there we are. Obviously, Ty had the Miami Oregon championship for the Crystal Ball Bowl, and I had the fun Ole Miss Indiana championship. But we got the Miami Indiana championship, and our locks from that week, we both went 4-2. I took the Ole Miss spread obviously because I picked them to win, didn't hit, and the under in the first half missed by half of a point, so I'm not really too bummed about that one. But all the others cashed there for me. Ty had the under in the Miami Ole Miss game. That one obviously went over late in that one, and then Ty the Oregon and a half plus 3.5 versus Indiana. Obviously, that one did not cash, and it wasn't even close to cashing after they won 56 to 23. And he's got me for the locks. I'm gonna have to go 6-0, or he's gonna have to go 0-6 for us to tie on the season. Hopefully that doesn't happen because I want to see us both win here this week. But we'll jump right into the game. 13-2 Miami Hurricanes at home in Miami, Florida versus the 15-0 Indiana Hoosiers. And we'll start with Indiana. I mean, this team was dominant all year. Won a game 73-0 against Indiana State, 63-10 versus Illinois at the time, who was ranked ninth in the country. Then you go on the road at Iowa, get a gritty win by 5. On the road at Oregon, win by 10. And then cakewalks all the way to that Penn State game beginning of November, 27-24 victory. Obviously, one of the best catches, if not best throws of the year from Mendoza in that one, and gets them the win. Then they close out the regular season, beating their arch rival on the road, Purdue 56-3. So you get a matchup with Ohio State in Big Ten Championship and a 13-10 victory there. We were thinking a lot of people were picking a potential rematch of Indiana Ohio State in the national championship, but unfortunately we don't get that this year. And then in the Rose Bowl, destroy Bama 38-3. Peach Bowl, destroy Oregon 56-22, and they end up here in the national championship. And I know you're asking, how did Miami get here? Well, it was a rocky road, to say the least. They started off the season great, 27-24 with a victory over Notre Dame. And obviously that victory looms large at this point in the season. Obviously, if they lost that game, Notre Dame might be playing in this game because that game really did decide who made the playoff, obviously. And Miami fans are thankful that the committee finally got it right in the last week of the season. Beat South Florida pretty good. Beat Florida really good. And then they beat Florida State on the road at the time, who was ranked 18th by 6. And then it was a rocky road here in the middle of October. Lost to Louisville at home by 3. Destroyed Stanford the week after. And then go on the road against SMU and lose in OT by 6. And they had to win out to get into the position they are in. Did so. Didn't really have a close game after that. They blew out all their opponents. Syracuse by 28, NC State by 34, Virginia Tech by 17, and then Pittsburgh, and which was a huge game at the time for both these teams. They won 38-7. And with a game like that, obviously really showed that this Miami team was trending in the right direction heading into the playoff. Didn't go to the ACC championship through tiebreakers. We saw that Duke Virginia game, and if anything, it would have been interesting to see if Virginia won what they would have done. Virginia getting in obviously made Tulane and JMU get in, so who knows what would have kicked out this playoff if Miami would have got in. But Miami, ugly game in College Station in the first round. They go on the road to face Texas A&M, win that one 10-3, but get the gritty win when it mattered. Cotton Bowl, I think a lot of people took Ohio State in that one, and they upset the Buckeyes by 10. Obviously, that Fiesta Bowl I just talked about, they won 31-27 against Ole Miss, where Carson Beck shows up late and we end up here in the national championship. And that means I got to pick someone, right? Well, not only myself, Ty is also picking the Indiana Hoosiers to go 16-0 and throw themselves, I will say, in the top five teams of all time. Debate what you want, which teams are better than them: 23 Michigan, 19 LSU, so on and so forth. That Florida team with Tebow and everybody. I mean, there's tons of teams you can debate which is the best team of all time. And I'm going to throw them in the top five for sure if they do indeed win this game. And if they're going to win this one, I think the history is just going to write itself with Kurt Signetti in Indiana. The story's been him all season. Obviously, what he's done, taking the losing his program in FBS history, the Indiana Hoosiers, and just turning them into an absolute powerhouse in 2 years. Year one, you take them to the playoffs. No one thought that would happen. Then year two, you have a 15-0 team in the national championship. No one thought that would happen. So why not just keep that story rolling and get that championship? And if they're going to do it, I think the defense is going to be a big part because if they can slow down this Miami offense, which has gotten on the ground pretty well in this playoff run, they can stop the run, make some throws, and if Indiana can get out to leads like they have been doing this playoff run early, forcing Miami to throw the ball, not abandon the run game, but call more passing plays. I think Indiana is going to walk away with the victory, run away with this one. But on the flip side, if you think Miami's going to win this game, they're going to have to do it up front with Ruben Bain and company. This defense is going to have to get Mendoza early and often, get him off platform, and limit him actually scrambling outside the pocket, which is going to be a sneaky key, I think, for Indiana. If they can get him moving and get to scrambling, getting his first downs, his sneaky speed could be a lot for them. But if Miami can limit that and stop the run game, then we kind of don't know what this Indiana team has other than that, Penn State game where they came from behind and won that game. I don't think they've really seen a team like Miami, the way they run the ball in this passing offense and that defense up front um, all year. So it could be an interesting punch in the mouth. Uh, some were saying it's a different punch than they've received all year if this Miami team can get out hot out of the gates in the first quarter. But I don't know. It's going to be a great game. These two teams have definitely earned the right to be here. Miami with all the doubters all year, and Indiana, obviously, just the Cinderella story keeps on going for the perfect season. But obviously, Ty and I, like I said, we're going with Indiana in this one. I just think Mendoza wins the Heisman. He wins the national championship. More than likely going to be that number one pick. And Mario Cristobal, obviously, the season falls just short for him, but restoring the U was his main goal, and he definitely does that here, even with a loss in the national championship. And we'll take you to our locks of the week. I didn't want to spoil who I was taking in this one because I am taking the 8.5 by Miami. I think this could be a 31-20 kind of victory, an 11-point victory, meaning I'm taking the over as well. I'm taking Mendoza over 200 passing yards and the offensive MVP, and the Indiana over, of course, of total points, 27.5. And the first half spread, I think if Indiana wins this one with a score like that, they're going to be up probably a touchdown or more at half. So I like the Indiana first half spread. And Ty's going the other way. He's going with Miami plus 8.5 in this one. He's going to go with a close game, the under. I didn't get a final score prediction, but I would assume since he took Indiana, probably like a 24-20, 24-17 kind of game. That would be the under as well. But he's got a Fletcher TD, a Cooper TD. He's got the Mendoza 200 passing yards as well. And Fletcher to also get 60 plus receiving yards in this one. Like I said, yeah, all these things, Ty's going to beat me because we did take the same for the passing yards for the locks of the year, but he deserved it, obviously, over 500 at this point. That's all we got for you for the national championship. Check back next week. We're going to be doing some coaching hires and fires and everything in between, the portal additions and everything. So we're still going to be pumping out some college football content here for you every week. It's going to be one weekly video, just kind of recapping what has gone down here in the last month because, our focus on this channel is going to be the picks and the rankings while the season's going. And then after that season ends, that's when we start talking about the coaches and who entered the portal, who went where. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you can stay up to date on all things college football and, of course, NFL, as well as we are going to be entering the NFC and AFC Championship in the Super Bowl. So hit that subscribe button to get us to 500 subscribers as well. That'd be great if you guys could get us there. We would really appreciate that.